This is the last part of module third's part B, that includes models for facility location and capacity allocation. PPT has been prepared by referring various videos, notes, diagrams from the net, as well as the textbooks, and exclusively used for the purpose of education. I owe a thanks to all of those sources. In this part, we will discuss about various models for facility location, whether it is capacity allocation or facility location, in which particular phase they are used. All those points we will discuss in this part. The manager's goal while locating the facility or allocating the capacity should always be to either maximize the overall profit or minimize the overall cost. These are the two aspects whenever he thinks of the objective function, why he is doing that particular thing. Two factors or two routes will be in front of him. He has to choose either the cost minimization route or profit maximization route. It's up to the manager, as both are correct. Some of them will do away with the cost, they are ready to invest. Their aim is to maximize the profit. Some of the companies, some of the managers are in such a way that they are ready to compromise with the profit, but they are not ready to compromise with the cost. Their aim is to minimize the cost. Even if they cannot occupy a very wide spectrum of the market, it's okay for them, but they will have a salvation of minimizing the cost. In that way, the productivity would be higher. While the other thinking is that let us occupy as much market as possible by meeting or catering the needs of the customers. As a result, you cannot minimize the cost. The efforts are required more, and your investment needs to be higher. In that way, you cannot minimize the cost, but what you can do is that you can maximize the profit. In that way also, you are improving the productivity. So in either of these ways, what happens is that either the output increases to help productivity increase, or the input decreases, in that way helping the productivity to improve. So productivity can be improved either with cost minimization route or profit maximization route. Okay, so that should be the first point what the manager should think. The manager must consider many trade-offs during the network design. For example, building many facilities to serve local market reduces the transportation cost and provides very fast response time, but increases the facility cost, inventory cost. So now you have to decide. As a manager, it is our responsibility, or it is our decision now. Should I choose a path wherein cost has to be minimized, in the sense, see, transportation cost, uh, for fast response time? How can we improve that? By providing more facilities to the customers, so customers are happy because the response time is very less, so they can get the item in their locality itself. They need not have to travel even 5 kilometers to the city center. Even in their locality, they are getting at the same price what they would have got even if they had gone to city center. They are very happy. But what is the expenses that the company need to bear? They have to set up an entirely different facility. Inventory has to be higher. You cannot keep just one or two items and say, if you want a better item, you go to city center. People may not like that kind of attitude from the retailer. So whatever the city center has, the locality center also need to have the same thing. Then only the customers are happy. We will get the business if and only if both the facilities have same kind of inventory. As a result, what will happen? Inventory cost will be high. Facility cost will be high. But transportation cost and the response time would be lesser. That is the trade-off that the manager has to think. Managers use network design models in two situations. There are two situations wherein modeling is necessary. It becomes an iteration. Why do we need a model? Because it becomes an iteration. Iteration in the sense what? I have to make a decision by considering various options, iterative options. I have to compare. I have to compare between various supply locations and the market locations. I have to consider the trade-off between each pair of supply and market. If there are 10 markets and 10 supplies, 10 into 10 becomes the permutation and combination becomes 10 by 10. So as a result, what I have to do, I cannot use normal procedure. I have to follow a heuristic procedure, or a model has to be developed. That is why normally under the condition of where the facility will be established and what capacity should be assigned, these are the two situations. First related to the facility, second related to the capacity. It is advisable that manual methods are not very useful. It takes time. The problem is that it takes huge amount of time. Information technology can be very well used with the help of these development of models. Development of models helped the managers to arrive at a faster decision using manual methods. Now information technology has helped the managers even to a better level. Manual methods would have cost them around a day, or 2 days, or even 3 days in order to calculate, look at all the permutation and combinations, arrive at a proper decision. Any minor mistake in the calculation, you may have to end up with a you would have ended up with a wrong decision. In order to avoid that, cross check again by another team. So this is how the manual methodology was followed. But nowadays the improvements in the information technology has helped the uh, managers to arrive at such decisions at a faster rate. Let us discuss them one by one. The models are used to assign current demand to the available facilities and in identify lanes along which product must be transported. This is the second situation. First situation is with respect to the facilities and the capacities. Second situation is with respect to the uh, current demand and the route in which the items have to be transported. Okay, so that is the second decision that they have to make. For both the cases, two different models can be utilized. Framework for network design decision. This is the framework. There are four phases. First phase is with respect to supply chain strategy. See here, you can see that first phase is with respect to supply chain strategy. For this supply chain strategy, what are the inputs? First input is from competitive strategy. You have to consider what the competitors are doing. That is a very important input. Based on their strategies, you have to decide your own strategy. Next one is the internal constraints. Don't do away with these internal constraints. Capital constraint is there, growth strategy constraint is there. Means if the company has a tendency of, okay, it's all right, even if I grow at 2% 3% per annum, it's sufficient for me. I'm not interested, or I'm not looking at a growth rate of say 20% 30% per annum. When that is the case, your supply chain strategy has to be different. You cannot have the same strategy for different growth rates by the top management of the company. Okay, existing network, what is the current network you have, that will also be an initial input to decide the new supply chain strategy. And along with these things, global competition. What is the global competition? What global players are there, how many global players are there, what are they doing, how they are doing. All those things have to be input in the first phase. During the second phase, I decide about the regional facility configuration, right? Which particular regional facility must be decided. So for that, various production technologies I have, that includes cost, scope of the impact, support required, flexibility, again competitive environment, aggregate factors and logistics costs, tariffs and tax incentives that each region give. I have to decide which region is the best. So some of the regions will give certain tax umbrella, some of the regions will not provide such tax umbrella. So but there could be some other advantages of opening my firm or my facility in that region, even though there are no tax benefits. That's what I have to decide during second phase. Regional demand, which region has the highest demand for my product, that is another question that I need to answer. Political and exchange rates and demand risks, these are various factors. Whether the political setup that is there in this particular region is helpful for my kind of business or not, I have to see. Okay, many regions will not support, many governments I mean to say, will not support, say, for example, industrial facilities. They may look towards the rural industries, handicraft industries. They are not interested in heavy machinery. So if you want to open a handicraft industry, you will get maximum benefits from the state, that particular state government. You open a handicraft facility at that particular region. If some other region gives you maximum facility for electronics goods related industries, go there. See, for example, because of this problem with the Chinese government, right? India has decided to become Atmanirbhar, and toy sector is one such thing, right? In North Karnataka, they have decided around 900 acres separate plot for toy industries. Around 1,500 crore is being dedicated even in the budget for a particular cluster of toy industries. So that is the support that they are getting. One in Chenpatna near Bangalore, and another in the North Karnataka. So if you are manufacturing a toy, that is the best place for you. That is what you need to decide during second phase. During third phase, desirable site. Okay, in that region, which particular site? Southern India. Okay, fine. Which particular site in southern India? Whether it is Chenpatna is better or North Karnataka is better. Some of the advantages could be there in Chenpatna if you are manufacturing a toy, because Bangalore is very much nearer to Chenpatna. Market could be higher. Nearly 1.2 crore people are there in Bangalore. So 20% of the entire state's population is in one city. Transportation facilities, everything is very much better in Bangalore. So can I start in Chenpatna? But what would be the other repercussions? I have to think. Whereas in if I start in North Karnataka's probably Kudligi district, okay, Kudligi region. Uh, if I start there, advantages could be the land rate could be very less. Other facilities like free electricity could be provided. We do not know. That's the trade-off that the manufacturer need to do while deciding about the particular site. That happens during third phase. And in the fourth phase, location choices, final thing. Okay, after selecting about the site, where in particular location, like whether in Chenpatna, within Chenpatna, where I should locate. There I have to decide about the labor, materials, site specific factors I have to decide, and transportation, inventory, coordination, all these factors will come into picture when I am deciding about a particular location. That is the final decision I have to make. First, I have to decide about the broad supply chain strategy in the first phase. Second phase, regional, and then desirable, maybe a territory. Within that, a particular location. Okay, so these are the four phases, one after the other. I have to decide to uh, set up my facility. So that's what I have explained. During first phase, this is what happens. You have to decide about the competitive strategy, internal constraints, and global competition. During the second phase, you have to decide about the various trade-offs between the supports from various states, regional demands, political conditions over there, whether it's a stable government or not. Then I will decide about the region, and the third phase I have to decide about various factors like production methods, skill needs, whether the skilled labor are there in that particular site or not. I have to decide an available infrastructure, whether infrastructure is already available or I have to set up a new infrastructure. All those factors will be decided during third phase. And the last phase I have to decide about the actual location where it has to be located. Precise location, that's what has been told. Precise location and capacity allocation. This is the final decision I have to make in this chain of activities. Here I have to decide about the labors available, material available, and transportation, inventory, coordination. All those things will be taken care while deciding about the location. Now we will come to some of the information that is available with the manager or the company while making the design decisions. See, for example, location of the supply sources and markets, it is available. We have to assume that before a model is prepared and before I go with the numerical analysis or the trying to get a solution for my problem, these are the information that should be readily available with the manager or the company. First one, location of supply sources and market, which are the different supply sources from where I can get the raw material, and which are the various markets. Location of potential facility sites, where the facility is created, where the manufacturing is done, that information is also available. Demand forecast by the market, and I have a very clear demand forecast by the market. So I know what is the demand, that is the meaning of that. I know how much is being demanded by the market. Facility, labor, and material costs by site. So each site's what is the cost, whether it is the facility cost or the labor cost or the material cost. If I want to start a facility at location A, what is the total cost, and what is the labor cost of at location A, and what is the material cost that I have to bear if I start the facility at location A. So similarly, location B's cost, location C cost should be known to the manager. Transportation cost between each pair of sites. If I want to move between A to B, A to C, B to C, what is the transportation cost? Inventory costs by site and as a function of quantity. What is the inventory cost that I have to bear? What should be the total inventory? Site by site, I have to have the data. Scale price, I mean to say sale price of product at in different regions, will it be same? Some of the products you might have observed, for Karnataka and other southern states one price, for other northern states or rest of India the price is different. Similarly, there could be for Maharashtra one price and for rest of India some other price. So that kind of sale price is also known to you. Tax and tariffs of various states, that is also known to the manager. Desired response time and other service factors should also be known. What is the response time expected by the customer, and what service factors that the company is providing to customer, they are all known to the manager. Let us start with the optimization models. First one is during second phase, manager considers regional demand, tariffs, economies of scale, and aggregate factor cost to decide the regions where the facility ought to be located. This is the phase 2. Look at what are the various factors that they have to consider, like production technologies, competitive environment, aggregate factors, uh, tax and tariffs, regional demand, political stability. All these factors have to be considered while deciding the model. Manager must consider these quantifiable trade-offs along with non-quantifiable factors such as competitive environment and political risk. You cannot measure them. You cannot quantitate a political turmoil, political instability, competitive environment, that also you cannot measure. That's why they are non-quantifiable factors or intangible factors or qualitative factors. We can call it by any name. Network optimization models are useful for managers considering regional configuration during phase 2. So here what we are doing, we are considering the regional configuration. Which region is better for me? That is the question I am trying to answer. I am trying to get the answer for a question that involves the regional configuration. One example we will take, and for this example you have to download Excel solver. If you have already downloaded Excel solver, you can directly key in the data. Okay, now we will start discussion about the model. Before we consider the numerical example, let us understand the various terminologies, I mean to say, associated with the model. First one is N. What does it mean? It is the number of potential plant locations where the manufacturing will take place. And M is the number of markets or the demand points to which I have to supply the products or the services that has been produced here to that particular location. DJ is the annual demand from market J. Market J has raised a demand of D number of products. Okay. See, for example, you can have a market in Bangalore, Mysore, and Chennai. Chennai may raise a demand for 10,000. Bangalore may raise a demand for 5,000. Mysore may raise a demand of 4,000, like that. Okay. Now Ki, that is the potential capacity of plant I. You have 3 plant locations. You have 3 market locations. Now market has raised a demand of 10,000, 5,000 and 4,000, say for example. Now what should be the capacity of these 3 locations? Or do you have 3 locations, or do you have only 1 location, or do you have 5 locations? It could be anything. It could be markets should be more than locations, or markets are as same as that of locations, or markets could be less than locations. It could be anything. So now I have to decide which location must be allocated with how much production rate, so that the demand can be met properly. There should be neither excess demand or it should be excess capacity. In other words, at the end of my assignment, I should see that the facilities are neither producing more, or the markets do not find shortage of the demand. What does that mean? whatever I am producing should be at least equal to or greater than the demand. If it is less than, I will be losing the market. If it is greater, okay, I can adjust it with next cycle of demand. If it is less, I will be losing the customer. So whatever I am producing should be at least equal to or it could be more than the demand. Fi is the annualized fixed cost of keeping the plant I open. So that is the F is the fixed cost. If I is kept open, then you have to consider that the fixed cost. If I is not at all started, then fixed cost will not come into picture. Cij is the cost of producing, shipping one unit from plant I to market J. So you have produced one unit at plant I and you have to move it to market J. What is the total cost of producing and shipping? That cost is termed as Cij. Next is y is a binary decision. It is 1 if it is open and 0 otherwise. That means if it is not open, it is considered as 0. Xij is the quantity shipped from plant I to market J. So Cij is the cost of producing and shipping. Xij is the quantity shipped from plant I to market J. So Xij, whatever I am shipping should be in line with the Dj. I hope you can understand that. Whatever the quantity I am shipping from plant I to market J should be in accordance with the demand raised by market J. So that means there should be relationship between Xij and Dj. So whatever I am shipping Xij should be at least equal to or greater than Dj. Okay, now we will discuss about the objective function. Till now we discussed various terminologies associated. This is the objective function. What do you mean by an objective function? That is the objective of the manager. So in this case, it is the minimization case. What am I trying to minimize? I am trying to minimize the cost. So what are the costs associated? One cost is the fixed cost and another one cost is the variable cost. First cost is the fixed cost. What is that fixed cost? Fixed cost is given by Fi into Yi. Fi is the fixed cost. You can see that here. See, Fi is the annualized fixed cost for keeping the plant I open. So Yi will come into picture if and only if I is open. Okay, it is considered as 1. If it is not open, then it is 0. Then fixed cost will not come into picture at all. Okay, so that is why fixed cost will come into picture if and only if that plant I is open, plus the variable cost. What is the variable cost? Variable cost is something like production, shipping, transportation. These are the variable costs. How is it calculated? It is the sum of the product of two factors. First one is Cij, that is the cost of producing and shipping. See here, Cij is the cost of producing and shipping, multiplied by Xij. What is Xij? Xij is the quantity shipped from plant I to market J. So the total variable cost is the sum product of cost of production and shipping multiplied by the quantity shipped. So that will be the total variable cost plus the fixed cost. This is the total cost, and my main objective is to minimize the total cost under the constraints. What are the constraints? These are the various constraints. So which is the first constraint? First constraint is Xij should be equal to Dj. What is Xij? That is the quantity shipped. That should be at least equal to demand. It cannot be less than Dj. Sometimes even if it is greater than, people will accept because it can be considered for the next cycle. But normally it should be equal to Dj. And it should never be less than Dj. This is the first constraint. Second constraint is Xij should be less than or equal to Ki into Yi. What is Xij? Quantity shipped from plant I to J. That should be less than or equal to capacity of the plant. Correct? No. See, whatever I am producing, only that much I can ship. Right? I cannot ship more than what I have produced. I can produce more, but I cannot ship more. Right? That's why whatever I am shipping should be at least equal to, or it can be less than what I am produced. If the demand is lesser than what I am producing, then it would be lesser. If demand is equal to what I am producing, then Xij will be equal to Ki Yi. That's it. Okay, and Yi is either 0 or 1 depending on whether the plant is open or closed. Let us use the Excel solver. Okay, all of you need to open Excel solver. Under that, you open an Excel sheet, and this is the given data. Okay, and these are the supply regions. North America, South America, few supply regions are there, and similarly these are the some of the demand regions: North America, South America, Asia, Europe, and Africa. Right, there are 5 supply regions and there are 5 demand regions, and this matrix is the Cij matrix. What is Cij? That is the cost of production and transportation per 10 lakh units or 1 million units. Okay, that is the production and transportation cost per that much unit, and it would be in terms of multiplied by 1000, like that. Okay, and then this is the fixed cost. If it is a low capacity plant, then the fixed cost is 6000. If it is a high capacity plant, the fixed cost would be higher. Low capacity means taking care of 10 into they are all multiplied by 1000 units. Okay, so it is 10 into 1000, like that. The obviously the fixed cost will be lesser. If it is high capacity plant, the fixed cost would be higher. So these are the decision variables. To start with, put all of them 0. Okay, and you are not supplying anything from these regions to any of these regions. So to begin with, let all of them be 0. So first input these values in your Excel solver, and this is the demand. Okay, North America has 12 into 1000, 8 into 1000, 14 into 1000, 16 into 1000, 7 into 1000. Okay, this is the demand, and I have to meet those demands with these supply regions. How much should be supplied from each of these regions to each of these regions, that we will solve. And this is what you need to enter in the particular cells. Say for example, cell B28. B28, this is the that corresponds to equation 1. What was equation 1? Equation 1 was corresponding to demand. Okay, see here, equation 1, 5.1 was corresponding to Xij equal to Dj. That has to be entered in cell B28 with B9 minus a sum of B14 to B18. Where is B14? B14 to B18 is the total demand. So that's what I am trying to make this sum, and copy that particular formula from C28 to F28. Then what should be there in B22? That also you input this in the toolbar. G14 multiplied by H14 plus H14 into J14. Right? Input this formula, and that is as per the equation 5.2. What is 5.2? That is Xij should be less than or equal to Ki by I. That is the quantity shift to capacity. Okay, so I'm trying to create an equation for the constraint of demand and the constraint of capacity. Both of them have been done, and where it should be copied to, that is also mentioned here. And at B31 you include this formula. What is this formula? This is nothing but your objective function. Okay, that is nothing but your objective function. The objective function was to minimize the total cost. That is sigma Cij into a minimization of Fi into Yi plus sigma of I 0 to n j 0 to m multiplied by Xij into Cij. That is the sum product. That's what I said. Xij into Cij. Sigma of Xij, sigma of I is equal to 1 to n into sigma of j is equal to 1 to m multiplied by Cij into Xij. What does that mean? That means it is the sum product. You are adding as well as you are taking the product. So first you are taking the product and adding each one of them. That is why it is called as sum product. So that will be the objective function. You type all these things in your Excel solver. Okay, so that is what it occurs here. I can see G14 into H4. Where is G14? G14 is here. See here, G14 into H4. Where is H4? H4 is here. So this into this, and you copy it to C28 to F28. Everything has to be copied similarly. And B22, this formula, you type those formula. Now you click on data in your Excel solver, and if you click on data, you will have a solver icon on the right hand top side. You click on solver and this window will be open. Here target cell, this should be the cell of the objective function. We have set that as say B31, and then changing values of from B14 to H18, that is the cost matrix cells, value of cost matrix cells, and then these are the constraints. So you type one constraint here, and then you can click on this add button. See here, you have the add button here. You can go on adding the constraints one after the other, and finally once all the constraints are done as per the format and all these values, you click on this solve button. Okay, when you click on this solve button, you will get this window with the answer. See here, you have got the answer, 23,751. So what is the unmet demand? 0 means the demand has been met successfully. All of them have got what they wanted. And where is the excess capacity? In one location we have the excess capacity. You can see that here. See, in Africa I have the excess capacity, or else everywhere it is 0. This is the answer box. This is what you are going to get. So within no time I could get the answer. If I had used the manual method, it would have taken hours together, but using Excel I can solve it within few seconds. So this is where the role of IT engineers in supply chain management is crucial. You need to develop the softwares like this. That is why your role is very, very crucial and essential. Many of you would be wondering, being a computer science engineer, why should I study supply chain management? I hope you have understood why your role is very important. See, if such a software has not been developed, the managers would have taken days together to solve such complex problems. Here it's only 5:5. That means 5 facilities and 5 locations, market locations. It could be in 50s, hundreds. Then the complexity would be high, and Such softwares will help the managers to a great extent. That is where your role is very crucial. So what is the conclusion? From the conclusion I can say that wherever you have one, H15 has one, H17 has one. See here, where are others ones? H15, yes, this is H15, this is, you have one. H17 you have one, and H18 you have one. They are the high capacity plant. And where is it? Plant under high capacity. This is the low capacity plants. There are not even a single low capacity plants. All of them are high capacity plants. So these three capacities, where one is in South America, and another one is in Asia, and another one is Africa. These three locations should be set up. You need not have to set up 5 locations. You considered 5 locations, but actually where are you setting up? You are setting up only 5 locations. And the plant in South America meets North American demand. See here, South America is meeting North American demand. Can you see that? South America is meeting North American demand as well as South American demand, because it is producing 20 units. And then Africa is meeting Europe's 10 plus Africa's 7. Asia, the plant in Asia is meeting 4 in Europe and 16 in Asia. In that way, I am meeting all the demands: 12, 8, 16 here, 7 here, whatever the earlier demand I had, all the demands are being met. Okay, so finally I can conclude that the plant in South America meets North American demand, whereas European demand is met by the plants in Asia and Africa overall. So this is a very simple procedure. You can solve it using Excel solver very conveniently at home. Second, during third phase, I have gravity location models. Okay, gravity location models in the sense where exactly, that is the gravity. In the sense gravity, I will have the coordinates for that. Okay, geographical location where the potential site may be considered. So I will have the geographic location. Gravity location models may be useful when identifying the suitable geographic location within that region. Okay, within that region. And again here also I have to minimize the cost. So this is where the third phase is being considered, this particular model during third phase, wherein the cost minimization with respect to that particular suitable location within that region will be decided. Let us take an example. See, this is the example. There are 3 supply: Buffalo, Memphis and St. Louis, 5 different markets. What is the transportation cost? What should be the quantities that should be supplied, and what is the quantity demanded? This is the supply quantity, this is the demand quantity, and these are the coordinates of each location where they are exactly located. Okay, this is the given data, and these are the parameters associated. X and yn is the coordinate of location, either the market or the supply. There's just a location you have in geography, no coordinate location. The same coordinate location is being used here. F is the cost of shipping 1 unit for 1 mile between facility and either market or supply source, from facility to market or the supply. So that is the Fn, cost per ton per mile. Okay, $0.1, $0.9. Dn is the quantity to be shipped between facility and market or supply source, from facility either to market or to supply source. Okay, what is the supply source? That can be a retail center. Try to understand that.
Okay, I have already created the facility in my previous model. I hope you are following my point. See, I have already created a facility using the previous model. One in South America, one in Asia, and one in Africa. I have already set up the facility location. Now I have to see from that facility location either some of the supply, that is, these are the retail centers and these are the markets. Okay, which are these things? That's what I am trying to decide during third phase. Okay. Okay, this is the distance. Dn is equal to square root of x minus xn square plus y minus yn square, and the total cost is given by Tc is equal to is summation of dn, demand, distance, and the fixed cost. And whatever this is not 5.1, this is equation 5.4. This is equation 5.4 and this is equation 5.5. Okay, those two things you enter in cell G5 and B19 of your Excel solver. This is the window that you get. So first enter all the data over here, 0.9507 and whatever the data has been given, and click on this cell, that is G5, and this is the formula according to that 5.4 equation. And you need to be very careful here, don't copy it as it is, because B16 and B17 cannot change. See here, this is with respect to B16 and this is with respect to B17. These two cannot change. Only minus E6, this need to keep on changing. That is the location of coordinates of each location should keep on changing. Okay, it is xn minus yn like that, right? So that should not change. You need to be a bit careful over here. And when you click on this, first you will get the answer. First keep x and y as 0 and solve it, you will get the answer. And then keeps cost as 0, doesn't matter, or whatever the formula you have, you type that formula here under B19 cell, right? Some value will come, don't worry about that. Now you go to solver, click on minimization, 16, 17, that is the changing variable cells, select on GRG non-linear and then say solve and say OK. Okay, now this is the location you have got, 681 and 881. This is the location you have got, and this is the most optimum location. And now I have to see which city has that particular location, or if I start a facility at this particular location, I will be able to serve my both sources and markets. So that is the meaning of that. If I have a facility location here, I can serve both sources and markets. After solving the problem, we could identify that 681 and 882 is the best location for the factory, which will minimize the total cost and meet the requirement of both sources as well as the market. From the map, we can identify that as the border between North Carolina and Virginia. The precise coordinates provided by the gravity model may not correspond to the feasible location though. So it gives you an idea where it could be located, but don't come to conclusion that this is the best location. Okay, at that particular moment it could be for the constraints whatever we have suggested, that is the optimum location, but may not be feasible at all. Why? What is that feasibility? See, if you want to locate a facility at this particular
coordinate. Okay, there are many constraints maybe with respect to that particular coordinate, which will prove that it's totally not at all feasible to start a facility there. Okay, so this will not, gravity model will not give you anything about the feasibility. It will just tell us about the particular location. That's what we need to keep in mind. And the last one is the network optimization model. In this phase, he will decide about consider both location and the capacity allocation together. Okay, till now we have decided, we just concentrated on the location and concentrated on the capacity. Now all of them can be combined together on a particular location. That we will do it in this phase. Must be account for customer service constraints in terms of the response time. This constraint must also be taken care. And demand allocation decision can be altered on a regular basis as costs change and markets evolve. That's quite possible. You cannot have a very rigid decision. That you need to have an agile or flexible decision. And when deciding the network, both location as well as allocation decisions are made jointly. That is the difference between the earlier models and the phase fourth model. An example, see in this example, this is the cost matrix, cost per 1000 units. This is the cost matrix of production and transportation, and this is the demand and capacity. See here, in my first example I had not considered the capacity. This column was missing, this data was missing in my earlier example, whereas in this example both demand as well as capacity, they are considered together, they are done jointly, and fixed cost is given. Enter this data into your Excel solver. Number of factory locations, market points, they are all as per our earlier notations. There is no change in that. Ki is the capacity, Cij is the cost of production and shipping. There is no difference. The same notations are being used here also. So goal is to allocate the demand from various markets to various points to minimize the total cost of facilities, transportation and inventory. That is my objective function. Minimization of the total cost and subject to this constraint, same as that of your earlier model, and enter these values into your Excel solver. Okay, enter all the values, fixed cost, capacity, everything, and to start with keep all these things 0. Okay, everything as 0. Automatically will get this as 0, and you will, this is the unmet demand to begin with, and objective function has not yet been calculated. Once you enter these values and keep this matrix as 0, and this will appear as 0, and once you enter the end, the formula that you need to enter is as same as that of your first model. Okay, there is no difference. This is as same as that of the first model. That is here. Okay, I4 into H14, sum of B14 to G14 equation. Same thing, whatever we had entered in my first example, same you enter that in this example as well. Constraints are also same thing. This is with respect to the demand constraint, this is with respect to the capacity constraints, this is with respect to whether the location is there or not, binary constraints, all those things are added. If you want to add, click on this add, you can go on adding more number of constraints, and finally click on this solve. Ensure that it is B32, objective function is on B32 cell, and click on this minimization because you are targeting cost minimization, and finally you click on this solve. Once you click on this solve, you will get the final solution. See, this is the final solution. Baltimore and all these are the various supply cities, and these are all the different demand cities, and you can see that Baltimore is the supply city that supplies 8 to Boston, 2 to Chicago, and that is kept open. Cheyenne, that is supplies to Denver and Omaha, that is also kept open. See, Salt Lake, it doesn't supply to any of the demand cities, and hence it is zero, that is closed, it is not open. That means I am not opening any facility at Salt Lake. Memphis meets the demand of Atlanta, Chicago, that's why it is kept open 1. Okay, and Wichita, again no demand is met of any of the cities, and hence it is kept 0, it's not open. And where is the excess? Baltimore produces 8 excess capacity. Okay, and all others do not produce anything in excess. And what is the unmet demand? All of them have been met, there is no unmet demand. And finally, what is the total cost? $47,401. This is the answer that you are going to get. So if you enter the values as per the problem, and enter the constraints and the formula properly without making any mistake, you will definitely get this answer. And so far we have discussed 3 problems of related to 3 different phases. First, we decided about consider only demand and selected the region. Next, the location using the gravity model during 3rd phase, and in the 4th phase we considered both demand as well as the capacity together, and exactly where it should be located and how we need to minimize the cost, that also we have considered in phase 4. So these are the various network models that may come in your module 3 while designing the network for a supply chain.